1 in 12 teens in high school are threatened or injured by a weapon each year. And even scarier, 15 young people are killed every day. Now, 12 of them, roughly 80%, by a gun. Today on Speak Up, teen violence and what are our options? We report the horrific stories to you, unfortunately, almost every week. Teen violence numbers are shocking. Now, stories of young teens committing violent crimes, first-degree robberies, and murder, of course. Now, I've heard from and talked to many of you wanting to know, what can we do? Well, today on Speak Up, our guests are some of the folk who are concerned and looking for answers. Joining us today are T.J. Petway. He's the Executive Director of Mobile Youth Justice Coalition, Inc. Rodney Toomer, also recognized by many as DJ Rotsky, a concerned citizen and now working with TJ in several areas. And also joining us today, Parrish Reed, who is another concerned citizen working now because of his involvement in the community and with parents to see what can be done about teen violence. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today on Speak Up, and we're here today hopefully to share some solutions to these just shocking numbers. Just this week, we're reporting now where 3 girls, I call them, basically because they're young people, one is a teenager, charged with beating up another young female who's 19 and a young mother, killing her and then setting her on fire. Now, we're talking about just shocking crimes that are now being done by teenagers, and you all have started an initiative to try and at least begin some of the dialogue and then offer some of the options. Let's talk first about the teen town hall meeting, and this took place to open up dialogue with teens. What did you hear? What did you hear from other teens saying they see these things happening because?
Well, we heard numerous things from school-related issues, community turf wars, on and on to family issues and more, and also the dialogue between the teachers and the kids on a general day-to-day basis and the school system.
Well, why so violent now? I mean, we had those problems when we were growing up. I'm a little older than you are, TJ, and we had turf situations because we were put together in schools from different neighborhoods, and somebody may not have liked another area of town, so to speak. We were bused in those days. We had issues with teachers, especially when I went to school. We were just addressing integration issues in schools, so we had some issues with teachers who we felt may not have liked us because of how we looked or where we came from. And so, I mean, we're talking about some of the same problems, what you're saying, but we didn't solve them with, in fact, most of the time it would be a fist, you know, not a knife, or in these cases a gun. And then it seemed that in those days, even with a gun, we didn't play for keeps. But today, I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to wound you, I'm trying to take you out of here.
I mean, the kids are today saying they basically don't have social activities, and they result in violence to actually get some of the attention for the public officials, the parents, and those are the things that we actually trying to implement to actually give some type of art program. Also actually have a social event after the art program has ended for that 2 hours time span, and also give them an opportunity to actually come out and have a good time on a twice a month or something like that in that nature.
Are they shocked at all about some of the things that are happening and how horrific they are, or are they like?
I could say, I want to say 20% of the kids that we have came in contact are like, whoa. And we actually send out surveys to the area schools to actually come back with some feedback. And the things that we're seeing on the surveys are mostly relationship problems. The social network, they are again more bullying on the social network now than ever. So it's more of a basically trying to get someone's attention to actually cry for help. That's the way I see it. And actually, I'm not condoning the violence, but I'm actually just want to step up and actually give them some type of social activity.
Right. Now, DJ Rotsky, Rodney Toomer, I'm used to call you that today a little bit too. What are you seeing? Because I know that with you being in a very mainstream form of communications, the radio reaches and touches people in a medium that very few others can do. What are you hearing, and what's causing this today?
As you remember, as you made point of, back when we were coming up, we had violence, but the violence wasn't so. The level of violence wasn't as high as it's raised now, and a lot of people don't understand that our children see this violence every day, whether it's domestic violence in their homes or their homeboy getting shot. So our children have become numb, very numb to this. So when they see killings, or when you see on TV where somebody might be dead and they had this crowd of people around, they're looking with this look on their face like it's no big deal. And that's where we have come to with our kids. Our kids have become numb to the fact that this is real life. This is really, and I think it's like a fine line trying to separate for them the reality of it's a life taken to it's just something that you've seen on TV. So as the TV and the violence increases on TV and these games and video games, it goes into the psyche of our young people, and they become cut off from feeling compassion and everything, and that's where we are. And that's why it's so important that we initiate these programs to bring them back to the reality of that a life is so valuable, and you should value your life. But a lot of our kids, and I hate to say it to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of these young men, especially black African men from 12 to 18, they feel like they're not going to see their 19th or their 20th birthday.
That's true. You hear so many of the boys when I go into schools who don't have dreams. In fact, they don't even know how to dream if you challenge them. Parrish, we're talking about being desensitized. Now, briefly, what are parents saying about this whole aspect? Are they blaming the media?
Well, the parents aren't really blaming the media, but they see that we have to do something to make the change. See, nowadays, once again, as you stated, while we were growing up, you know, at least when we got into some type of altercation, we cared. You know, we didn't want to kill anyone. The mentality in today's society for teenagers growing up is they don't care. They don't have the role models. They don't have someone to direct them to say, hey, this isn't the proper way or direction that you need to go if you want to be successful in life. And I think that's the purpose of us, to try to instill, once again, not just in the children, but in the parents, because it always starts at home. If we have the parents to be role models and put children and teenagers in activities so that they won't be out on the streets, then we can make a difference. And it starts there. It starts at home. So the parents are saying that we need activities. You know, a lot of things are due to lack of funding, because there aren't.
I tell you what, hold on that point.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the things that you're trying to put in place, and talk also about why aren't they in place, as we're looking for the options and the way to change what's going on today. Speak Up continues in just a moment. We'll be right back. Here's some of those stats. In 2008, 7 murders by teens, 31 robberies. In the year 2009, the number went up even more from that. Now, 30 parents were arrested for lack of accountability. These 3 gentlemen today are a part of a teen town hall, a summit, sort of a powwow, an opportunity to, let's how we're going to talk this thing out, work it out, and put some things into place. Now, we were talking before we went to the break about being desensitized. And I truly believe that the media is a part of that. We play a role in that as far as what is seen now on TV, that at one time you would only see it in the movies, maybe. But today, the movies, a PG-13 movie is not like it was when a few years ago. The TV shows that are on in prime time are just unbelievable, what they show, what they say, what they do. And, you know, in the central time zone where most of our viewers are, you don't have that children's hour. Exactly. And so it's incredible what's taking place. And then you talk about adding all of the channels now that are available through cable and satellite. What is a parent to do, Parrish, to control what our children are being bombarded by every single minute of the day?
You just said the key word, control. They have to take ownership of their children. You have to, you know, if you know that watching a particular television show may draw a negative impact on your child, don't let them watch it. Don't let them hear music that you think that they will carry on as they continue to hear it and start to try to utilize some of the lyrics that you hear.
But here's what they say to you, parents. But Mom, but Dad, you're being restrictive. I can't do nothing. That's what everybody's listening to, everybody's watching.
I totally understand, but you're my child, and you need to do.
I pay the bill.
Exactly what I say. As parents, we have to, start setting a career path for our children, and that's not happening as much as it should be. I'm not going to say it's not happening at all, because we do have a lot of graduates, that's taking place, but we could do more because there's more violence. The violence is taking over the education.
I mean, you make a very good point, because statistics show that there are more African-American males incarcerated than are in colleges today.
Absolutely.
And now, overall, as a nation, our female population has matched head-to-head with male college enrollment. We're talking about all males. So there is a serious issue there. It's not just the fact that more women are going to school, but it's the fact that we're losing males to the college career track there that has happened, for decades in this nation. DJ, what do you tell parents? Because, like I said, you're in a position where radio personalities are very, in my opinion, powerful people who can really make a positive difference if they are in the right mode. 3 points.
One of the things we got to understand about the reason about children and parents is that a lot of these parents are babies themselves. So it's their skills in parenting and everything, they're not getting those skills in the say. So they want to do it, but they don't have the knowledge. So as we set up these programs for summer programs for these kids, we need to be setting up parent programs for these single mothers, And I think that's one of the problems. It's a thing to me, though. I used to know a man named Mr. Lucy in the neighborhood. He used to cut hair. And Mr. Lucy used to get young men from around him and put them under his wing and teach these young men. But we have, I don't want to sound vulgar, a damning spirit. A dam, we knew a dam, and I said this at the teen town, a dam is something that you hold water up in order to keep power, to enforce power. But these older gentlemen, like me and other men, we don't take these men under our wing, and it's a dam. We hold up our knowledge and our wisdom and our understanding to give them, so they will see, well, this is something I like to do. Another young man, real quick, Keith Lambert, he has an automobile place on St. Timothy Road. I was over at his place the other day, and he had a young man learn how to change tires and fix brakes. That's what we have to start doing.
That's right.
And that's why I'm at the point where I am. I was in the radio for 20 years. And this knowledge and wisdom, understanding I have is just ready to blow out. And I want to insert it into another young man. And that's where we come up with the broadcast university.
And so we're talking about mentoring. And I think one of the things that we have lost also in certain segments of our community is the grandfather.
Exactly.
You don't see the granddad anymore being a part of what is a part of keeping men on a straight track. Now, TJ, with the forum and the town hall summit meeting, the teen town hall, you're going to not just stop with one, but you're going to make this an ongoing program in different communities.
Right. We're setting it up in regions, and we're tackling the Maysville area, Tomerville, and the Pritchard area, Central, Satsuma, the West Mobile area, and we're actually making a dialogue with the community and saying, okay, each community have a different issues, and we're trying to learn each issue in each community and actually come back and try to have a community action team, and also not stop with the community. We're going to actually have a school action team and actually work together and try to implement new programs. And one program that I want to implement is a parenting class inside of the teen hall meetings. And now we're going to the breakout sessions. We heard the powwow from the first two, now the third one. May 22nd, we're actually going to have the breakout sessions, and we actually give the kids the opportunity to learn different things in the community, and also have a parenting class for the adults and females.
I was glad to hear you mentioned not just urban areas, you also mentioned a rural area like Citronelle. Right. And a lot of people don't realize there are issues and violence taking place in places like Citronelle. In fact, in a baseball game recently, my son was scheduled to play Citronelle, but due to Citronelle getting into a fight with another school, they suspended half the team, so they couldn't play. And that was due to some other issues that they felt were things needing direction and control and how to talk and handle conflict resolution.
Right.
Is that a part of what we're seeing coming out of these teen town halls also?
Right. I mean, a lot of kids, they want to do good. It's just the things that they don't. It's a process that we have to give them to actually how to solve the conflict and resolution. And the things is, the teachers are doing the things at the school that they need to be done, and we're having them not parallel with the homes in school. And once we get on a parallel with those two things, we actually will have a better school system, better homes. But actually with these meetings, we're actually trying to help build the gap and actually be the voice for the kids.
We've got a lot of work to do,
Right.
and but you all have laid out some good points. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more to these three gentlemen who are a part of a process to bring about some positive change to address teen violence. More in just a moment. Despite the numbers, despite all the bad statistics, we still have young men, just like this young man here, who are stepping to the plate in a critical time. He's receiving an award for being a hero. He stepped into a very tragic situation where a woman was being attacked, and he risked his life. You saw there earlier his sort of badge of courage where he was stabbed by the perpetrator as he was stepping forth to help a woman in a very bad domestic situation. So we still have numbers. The statistics show, though, that the majority of our kids are good, but they are being influenced as well as having to deal with the others who are making some just devastating and terrible choices. We were talking about how the talking that takes place in the summit is just a launching board for the programs that are needed. We were talking about how today so many of the households where the kids are coming out of are young mothers, and then also young mothers by themselves.
So, I mean, with that is, we just basically want to build programs around, not just around those that issue, but also reach out to everyone that is in need. And I feel that the programs that we have in today's society are outdated, and basically we just need to actually go back to the drawing board and revamp those programs that we have for teens, and also for the parenting classes. Those need to be just, with mentors, we actually need to know, just because you're an adult, you just not can become a mentor. Is actually, you have to find that inside yourself, actually be a mentor. Actually go through the proper training, try to be parallel with the mentoring program, also with the kid, get on the kid level to know what his needs or her needs are.
And be properly screened today because of so many other things that are taking place. Now, Rodney, DJ, you were about to talk earlier about a program where you're going to put your media experience into a situation to hopefully be a way to mentor as well as train.
I have over 20 years experience in radio, and now I used to wonder why God put me in all these different places in the radio station continuity director, where I had to write. I get copy points from the salespeople, and I have to write it in a way for the country station, for the rock station, for the urban R&B. So I learned that. I was a production director. I've been on the air. I've done every job except general manager of a radio station, which is my goal. You know, so to own my own radio station. So the knowledge that we have and getting it to these young men, we love, especially young, I noticed a young African American man, we love music and we love the arts, we love the beat of the drums. So when they hear themselves or they see themselves, they're amazed. So that in itself, Broadcast University, it's a 6-week comprehensive program in the summer, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. And hopefully we'll have Williamson, working Williamson for this thing. I'm gonna teach them how to write, how to produce, and how to actually put a commercial together. on using different software, Edit Pro, Sonic Force, many of the stuff that you guys use in the production room here. And when they get finished, at the end of this 6-week program, they'll be able to go into any radio station and to cut any commercial or to deal with any software, any production hardware that they need in order to make it happen. The underlining is to teach them responsibility, teamwork, and to build their self-esteem. And that's the #1 goal, I think, for us as far as this BU is to bring your self-esteem up. If your self-esteem is high, you have a high look and high point of yourself. And you won't lower yourself to those things that you know are derogatory and not in your best liking. So that's the #1 thing that we're trying to do with this broadcast university.
And what I also see is that you're creating the opportunity to dream, to plan for the future. Parrish, what is the responsibility of these parents to plant these seeds into their kids? Because as you were saying, it's got to be a twofold street. It can't just be you all pushing it from one end, but they've got to do their part.
Absolutely. You know, the parents need to make sure that we continue to be role models inside the home for our children. Make sure that they're completing their homework, making sure that we have a career plan for the future, because it's needed. It's really needed. If we don't have anything in line for our children in the future, it's no direction. Without direction, things just, they are what they are, and kids could go to a violent type of situation, or they can go to a positive type situation. But if I'm a kid and my mother is instilling in me that I need my education so that I can become something positive in my life, then that's the direction I'm going to go in. So,
it is amazing to you all that it's the year 2010, and we can travel around the world without leaving. We can communicate on a phone like Dick Tracy did back in the 60s and 50s and 40s, and yet we're still having a problem reaching our youth on something as critical as this.
Right. And the thing with that is we're not building the dialogue. We're actually coming in as a more forceful issues, and actually not actually coming in with a calm type of voice and actually trying to ask and see what's really going on with the kids. I mean, like I said, I came from a single parent home, and I know the struggle that the parents are having, but also the parents also shall be able to instill the educational values, the safety values, and also the responsibility values. And that today's teens are lacking seriously, and actually my organization is actually trying to instill those back into our black community, also in other communities, and just basically get the message across and also build awareness of more clean, positive fun for the teens.
One of the things that is so important when you talk about the different communities and ethnic groups is that if you get one group doing it the right way, it seems that stuff spills over, because even the bad things and the styles just tend to permeate throughout culture when it starts in certain communities. Does that seem to be the case?
Yes. I mean, we live in a so-called hip-hop generation, and we really shape and mold, the styles and different things. But I feel like you got to put a child in the right environment that shapes and molds them. In our neighborhoods and our hoods, we don't see museums, we don't see coffee parlors, we don't see that. We see a church and a liquor store on every corner. So when we show them other things, alternatives, then that's it. I'm trying to make young men that we're getting is great. I'm not talking about just mediocre when you go out and get a job. We don't want to be a slave to a job. And I think that's what many of our young people are. We see that we go through all this school and everything, but you become a slave because they're not teaching you the education of, if I'm going to college for business, I don't want to learn the business administration. I want to learn the science of business, where I can get a structure and a foundation to have my own.
There you go.
An entrepreneur. Exactly. And that's the thing.
And that's the bottom line, creating that economic thrust back in the community. Gentlemen, we never have enough time, and I appreciate all three of you. And of course, the information has been run throughout the program for way to contact Mr. Petway as well as Mr. Toomer and Mr. Reed, and make sure that you support the efforts of this new way to make a difference in the community. And of course, we will be keeping of the different activities and keeping you abreast of that here at Fox 10 News as well. We thank you for joining us today on Speak Up. Please take advantage of the information, contact these men, and do your part in making a difference to change things to the back the way they should be. I'm Eric Reynolds. Have a great day.